Welcome, welcome to Mindset to Results. And today our guest is Susie David. She is founder and CEO of Innovation and Creativity Institute. And Susie helps entrepreneurs and visionary leaders connect with their innate creativity. Hi, Susie.
Hi there. It's great to see you.
Yeah, good to see you. So I'm excited to know about your five methods, five-step method, how to be creative, how to eliminate limiting beliefs, self-doubt, how to build confidence. So let's speak about that to empower our driven business and entrepreneurs to bring their best and live thrilled, fulfilled life and achieve their audacious goals.
Perfect. Well, let me start by explaining that I created these during a time of my life when my business was in a doom spiral. My finances were crashing. My personal life was on the rocks. My health. And so, if anyone who is listening is needing an opportunity to hit the reset button and maybe redesign how you live and how you work and how you create, these tips, these practices that I'm about to go over will be a wonderful asset to you. And I promise you, you don't have to have a bunch of special gear. You don't have to have a bunch of resources and time. You can do all of these very quickly. As a matter of fact, you can spend 5 to 10 minutes doing these in the morning, and you are off and running. So, what I first want to explain before we get into exactly what the individual 5 M's are, I came upon a formula during this period of time when I was doing a lot of research on innovation and creativity, and when I was going through my own nuclear winter period. And what I discovered was the path out is basically contains two chunks. The first chunk is an inspiring phase. And this is when we literally breathe in, inspire ourselves with beauty, art, nature, being with those we love, and doing what brings us alive. When we are in a state of overwhelm or burnout, or we're clinging to perfectionism and overachieving, we can forget all of those beautiful things that fill our energy and bring us back online and back to our true selves. So, the first step is to inspire ourselves so that we can express or exhale or expire what our creative vision actually is. So, the first phase fills the tank of energy and willingness. The second are the 5 M's. So I'm going to take you through these. And as I go through these, what I'd like for you to do is just take some notes and not get all hung up on, oh my gosh, I have to do all of these at once, or this sounds too complicated. I promise I'm going to take you through it step by step. And I'm also going to turn on my document camera. For those who are watching this on video, you're going to be able to see some examples of things. If you're listening only, I'm going to be talking you through it and giving you a picture for your own benefit for your mind. So let's start with the first one. The first M is morning pages, which is the brainchild of author Julia Cameron, who wrote the book The Artist Way. This journaling practice is literally 3 pages of longhand writing in a notebook or a journal, and it's an opportunity to just put all of the contents of your mind onto paper and move on with your day. So, anything that might be causing us anxiety or confusion, or anything that may be making us angry, or something maybe we want to celebrate, something we want to think through, This is an opportunity to really connect with ourselves and our thinking and get all of that out. It frees up so much of our brain power, but it also gives us this wonderful sense of calm. Now, I'm going to show you the journal that I'm currently using. I use all kinds of journals. I never met a notebook I didn't love. But I just want to show you an example. This is a little Kate Spade. It's a 9 by 12 journal. And what I use this for are my morning pages. And I don't do 3 pages every day. Sometimes I do just a half a page, or I'll do 1 page or a page and a half. But there are days that I'll do 7 or 8. So it's not like a rigid thing that you have to follow. It must be 3 pages. The other is that it doesn't have to be prose. It doesn't have to be beautifully or perfectly punctuated. As a matter of fact, you can just write down bullet points and call it done because it's not about the sort of outcome of the writing time. It's about what's happening to you as you are writing. And this is true for all of the 5 M's. The most important time is your time spent engaging with yourself and your soul. So, the other thing I kind of want to point out is in the front pocket of this journal, I have all kinds of gold cards and things that I make myself. And it's really wonderful to have an opportunity to, and I keep them kind of like as flashcards.
Mhm.
And I have things in here about languages that I want to learn or places I want to see, experiences I want to have. And I keep it in the front pocket of this morning pages journal simply as an opportunity to sort of flip through those right before I start to write. And it is a wonderful daily reminder to see these things that I have as dreams and goals and to reconnect with those in a very positive way. So, if you are not a journal person or a notebook person, you can get a scrap piece of paper and just write for 5 minutes, tear it up, and throw it away. So, it's not about keeping the journals, although I keep all of mine. But if that's not your thing, you can get all the benefit of morning pages in a very simple way that doesn't take a lot of time. So that's the first M. The second M is movement. And we all know the importance of moving our bodies and exercise. I want to impress upon you an opportunity to use movement as a way to connect with yourself. I love to take off in the morning, head to the woods with my dog, put a little journal in my pocket with a pencil, and just go get some fresh air, but also experience this thing that happens when we're moving. We're connecting the left and the right hemispheres, and we're in our brain, and we are releasing these wonderful neurotransmitters. The best ideas that I get by far are those that I get when I'm on a walk. So I'm always standing in the middle of the woods, stopped with, with my journal and my pencil while my dog is sort of sniffing around and writing down all kinds of things that are coming to me. So, what we're doing when we're moving, and we're not checking our phone and all of that, but we're really just entering in this zone of kind of a surrender. What we're doing is activating the default mode network, which is the part of the brain which sort of sparks creativity. And you will know what this feels like because you've had perhaps some of your best ideas on a walk or in the shower or on a long drive, and you kind of zone out. And that's the opportunity for this sort of analytical, logical part of our brain to take a nap and quiet down and let the soul of us come to the surface and get the mic and then be able to broadcast to us wonderful intuitive hits, wonderful ideas, and also some very powerful problem solving skills. The third is meditation. I have a lot of people who tell me, oh my gosh, I've tried to meditate. I can't stand it. I have to sit there for 30 minutes. It feels like a waste of time. I get frustrated. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with, focusing on my breath or what even that means or what practice to follow. I'm going to make it so easy and simple that you cannot resist giving it a try. And that is 5 minutes in a quiet room that's dark. Your phone is nowhere in sight, and you're just seated and relaxing. You don't have to do anything fancy with your breath or watching your thoughts. You're just quiet. This is enough time to give your central nervous system a nice reset. And it's an opportunity to notice, oh, I'm really wanting to get out of my chair well before 5 minutes is up. Or I feel this urge to um, get up and do something to sort of quash this kind of anxiety that you might have. As overachievers, as people who are desiring to not only achieve their goals, but sometimes overachievers want to achieve in order to feel like that we have value. So being still and quiet can be disconcerting, but it's a practice and you can get really good at it. Because I know when I first started, I just couldn't do more than a couple of minutes initially. And now I sit regularly for 30 minutes or more. So give it a try. If you want to start with meditation, give yourself a lot of grace and just work your way up. And you don't have to have any special program that you follow. Just start with your 5 minutes with yourself. The next one that I want to talk about is moments of inspired learning. And I want to show this to you on the document camera so that you can get a sense. I'm going to pin here and I'm going to take you here. You do not have to use the same kind of journal that I have. This is a LifeSterm 5-year journal. I started this in January. And what I do is every single day, I will think about what kind of inspiration would be helpful today. What would feed me? What would feed my brain, feed my soul? And I will look up a subject and look up an inspirational quote. And every single day, I will write one quote in that day's entry. Now, I've been doing this now for the entire year. And guess what happens? When we are spending time writing and thinking about the words, the very powerful words of authors and artists and inventors and explorers and historians and philosophers and um, all kinds of creators and mavericks in the world, they are not only inspiring our own thoughts, our own new thoughts, but what happens is when we do this over time and we start to flip through to get to the next entry, we realize, wait a second here. This quote from Charles Duhigg, it relates really interestingly to what Anne Frank said, or Carl Jung. His quote really relates to something that Anne Lamott said. Now I'm connecting what I used to think were disparate chunks of information that weren't related to one another, but now I'm seeing something that I didn't understand before. As an author, as a creator, as a coach, as a person who loves to create classes and workshops and teach, this is so much fun because you are learning something new every single day. Plus, your subconscious mind is storing this information and it's working in the background. And so it's an opportunity to not only reconnect with what we love and what might stir our soul and our intellect, but it's an opportunity to kind of commune with all creators and sort of sit around the campfire with people who may still be here or maybe people who have long passed away. So it is very nourishing and it's an opportunity to inspire yourself, that is very, very fulfilling. Other things that you can do, you can listen to poetry. That's another thing that I love. Pull a book off the shelf and read one page from a favorite passage. Just something that is a moment of an inspiration that really travels down into the depths of who you are and really sort of gets you going and excites you. The last one, and I'm going to keep this on the document camera so that you can see this, and I'll describe it for those who are listening. The last one is the M is making something. This, I will tell you, is the one that every single hard charging entrepreneur fights me on because we tend to want to believe that making something sounds, oh, that sounds like crafting. That sounds like something retired people do. That sounds like something that kids do or people who have lots of time to kill, blah, blah, blah. Also, we have this notion that anything that has to do with creating something, ooh, that sounds like something I'm not qualified for, that I'm not going to be any good at it, that I don't know how to do it. And I'm going to tell you right now, every single person on the planet is an artist. I want you to just ignore what you have been taught your entire life, which is an artist has to have some kind of quote unquote talent and be able to perhaps create something that looks like something in the real world. That used to be my definition, by the way. So we're all creative, we're all an artist, and making something is an opportunity for us to enter into a portal of possibility that has the most incredible um, ramifications on who we are and how we feel and how we move in the world and our success and our sense of freedom and agency in our lives. I know that sounds like magical thinking. I know that sounds like a tall order to fill. And I also know that you might be thinking, oh, this can't possibly be for me. I want to prove you wrong once again. So let's start with I have a journal here. And again, you can do this with a blank piece of paper that you just pulled out of the trash. I have a love affair with all creativity supplies, all art supplies, all notebooks and pens and pencils. This that I'm showing you on the camera is a set of crayons that come from Switzerland, and they're just really super fun. Um, you can get started with doing a very simple pattern exercise in a journal or on a piece of paper. And I'm just going to take you to one of mine. I create things that look almost like quilts. Well, let's see here. Here's an example of one. Um, Basically, I just painted the background and then I used crayons and went right on top of the paint. But you can also just use the crayons by themselves and, make your own little patterns. This is paint, but crayons work great. And what happens when you're moving your hands without this concern of, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to make something that I love or that's perfect or it's beautiful or that other people are going to love? When we let go of that sort of obsession and we just let ourselves enjoy this time, 5 minutes of playing around with crayons, markers, colored pencils, regular pencils, pens, whatever. What happens is that we enter that default mode network zone where we are letting the soul surface and we send this taproot into our intuition. And when we get the intuition online and we start to feel a new sense of courage, we're much more willing to take bold action. And every single visionary leader and entrepreneur wishes they had more courage, wants to be able to take bold action. This is your quickest path to building that musculature. So that's just one way for making something. The other is I have started asking clients to begin to collect in an envelope over the course of a week little things that kind of stop you in your tracks. So I have some examples here. This is a little piece of a map from Amsterdam. I am a total fan for travel, and I also have a thing for maps. So I took a little piece of my map that I got when I was traveling earlier this year in Amsterdam, and I took that and I put that in my envelope. This is a little piece of paper of two colors you will see that I created with acrylic paint, and it's a turquoise and it's a red. And I was just playing around with paint. I wasn't trying to make anything. I was just experimenting with color. What I noticed when I made this was that it reminded me of something from my childhood. And I thought, oh my gosh, to anybody else, you're going to look at this and say, yep, that looks like blue and red paint. So what? But to me, it has very special meaning. So I thought, okay, I'm going to tear off a piece of that. This next one is a little quote. This is a little swatch from my book, and it's on the importance of walking, and it's in a little subsection of a chapter called Creativity Space. And I thought, I want to be reminded of that. These are all things that represent something to me that I love, that my soul loves. So you collect these kinds of things. They can be inspirational quotes, words that you love, colors that you love, things that you see in a magazine or a book, and you want to, um, keep that in your collection. Put everything into an envelope and collect these things for about a week. Then sit down with a journal or a piece of paper and get some tape and some or a glue stick. Nothing fancy. And pull out either one or two or three things from your envelope. These are things, again, that have somehow captured your attention, sent a little current of electricity through your body. So you go through your envelope and you just pull out a few things and then arrange them some in some fashion. It doesn't again have to be, you know, life altering design. It could be, something very simple. So let's just say that's and I've just arranged three things on the paper for those who are audio only on this. Now, glue this down, tape it down, then take a look at it. What is it about these things that captured my attention? And what kind of clues can I get from this to maybe bring some things back into my life that I love? And if we remember the inspiring part of the um, formula, this is the key. Doing more of the things that stop us in our tracks kind of stop our hearts in a great way, fill our souls with joy. But it's easy to get to the place when we are working, working, working to stop doing those things on a regular basis. And we forget what we love. And this is a way to reconnect with that. So after you have looked at this, you might write a couple of sentences at the bottom of the page as to what it is that this kind of taught you today. And I would say, you know what? I want to I want to visit another European city next year. and do a lot more walking with a paper map instead of trying to do everything on my phone. I want to just kind of let myself get lost on purpose, have a little paper map in my pocket, and just explore. This piece here that reminds me of my childhood, this is an opportunity to just kind of remember and be grateful for what this represents. So it's kind of an instant immersion in the juiciness of gratitude. And then this one up here again is just another reminder of what I love about the benefits of walking. And I will put these things down here, more foot travel without digital devices in Europe or something like that. And that's it. Um, and then we close this and then we come back to it tomorrow and we do another little 5-minute collage and we reconnect with ourselves. So I'm going to come back to the um, camera here. And I just want to emphasize that making something can be, you can garden, you can make a sauce in the kitchen, you can sketch, you can do needlepoint, whatever it is. But what I have found for folks who don't have an artistic background or a hobby that sort of forces them to use their hands in a way that's not typing on a keyboard. This sort of journal practice with either crayons or with doing these simple collages is a way to ignite a series of really interesting, accumulating little combustions in your soul and reconnects you once again with all the things that perhaps you stopped doing when life got busy and put yourself back in the position of having agency over your day and over your life and how you feel. So that's a very long explanation of the 5 M's. But let me know what questions you have.
Yes, amazing, amazing. I really enjoyed. It is a very good routine, ritual, and it is good to start day with this because we have to, as you suggested, release all from our head and put it on the paper so we can free up the space for new ideas. Otherwise, if we don't free up the space, we will have the same thoughts just going out in again in our mind, and there will be no space for anything new. Yes. And usually people have the same thoughts every day. Yes, and like from
Hmm.
4 to 8 thoughts are like very deep rooted thoughts. Yes, and they just going round and round, and this is how people sometimes feel stuck because they want to do many things but they cannot do because they have their head full of all these different things, worries, doubts, and when we put it on paper, it helps to know, like, okay, now everything is written, it is there, it will not go anywhere. We want even to not to forget. Yes, everything put it written. Yes, and the second one is movement. Of course, movement is important because we are like batteries, like we are
Hmm.
like batteries, and when we move, we recharging. Yes, like blood circulation improves, and our organs get that blood, and energy like circulates, and this is how we always feel good when we walk and when we do exercises. Initially we can feel like lazy, or I don't want to do it today, maybe later. And but when we do it, we say, "Oh, how good that I did exercise! Now
Yes.
I feel so better." Yeah. So this is definitely a very important step. Then also meditation. Again, meditation. We have to calm down. We have to empty our mind, and we live in such a busy world that it is really, as you said, people think that they don't have time, but being busy just for being busy also is not an answer. And sometimes you can do much more things and be more effective and productive when you quiet yourself, when you quiet your mind, open space for new ideas, and then you will see, this is the answer to my question. Oh, this is the way how to do it better, because you quiet your mind, and then only you can receive. Otherwise, if your mind is like that uh, the big road highway with 6 lines, and car goes different ways with high speed, and sometimes people's head is like that, so many thoughts, so much chaotic things, and of course there is no space to have anything new. So meditation is, as you said, just 5 minutes, but it is really essential just to train yourself to be quiet, to be calm, and just empty your brain. And also very good technique is when uh, you can put the dot on the wall and just look at the wall for 5 minutes. And you will see that initially you cannot focus. As you said, that initially you could just maybe sit in the dark room 1 minute, 2 minutes, and then you would feel, no, I can't do it anymore. Yes, exactly. Because it is not natural for us. We
Mhm.
we used to live in such high speed and always all this chaos, all these highway movements in our head, that to break that patterns, it really needs efforts. Initially, we have to train ourselves to sit and be quiet and just focus on no thoughts. Yes, to have no thoughts if it is in darkness, or if it is not in darkness, if you are somewhere, you just can find the spot on the wall and just sit and think about only that spot and nothing else. And when your attention will go somewhere else, and it will happen just in 1 2 seconds, I can promise. So you just pick that intention and bring it back to the dot. This is how you train your will. Yes, the will, which will help you in other cases. Because if you can train yourself to sit 5 minutes in the darkness and not think about anything, just think think of nothing, just find that place where you can think about nothing. Yes, and or that spot, if you can focus 5 minutes, it means that you can also do other things. You can focus,
Mhm.
concentrate, and you can solve. It is practicing your will. Yes, your will ability to focus on something to the exclusion of anything else. It is like goal. You set the goal and you focus on that goal and you don't get disrupted. Why so many people have so many disruption? Because they cannot focus. Now the
Mhm.
attention span becomes so small, because so much information and people are bombarded with thousands of news every day, and that's why it is such a difficult became to focus. And we have just to keep and practice this muscle. So the next one was moments of inspired learning. Yeah, that was very nice, because we always have to learn, right? And always have is expand and grow. And the last one, making something. Yes, making something. I also like that one, because when we create something, this is how we associate even those quotes and do something, so it becomes physical. Yes, like physical
Mhm.
already, not just in your head, but it takes become like they get in physical form.
Yes, and the making something is so interesting too because it puts us in this zone where the cauldron of ideas and thoughts and the soul's desires have an opportunity to kind of hang out and have a conversation without us being in the middle of it and stopping it or interrupting it. And I have had so many um, opportunities that have come about from just playing around for 5 minutes with the journal, making something. I have had, when I have been painting something or playing around with a sketch or making a little simple collage, I've had huge ideas just come and just like downloads, just wham. And I wasn't even thinking about it. It just comes out of nowhere. But just like you mentioned that we have these thoughts that we have kind of on repeat, the other part of us, the soul, is really keyed in to what it is that we truly want to fulfill this authentic self and what our passions and dreams are. And if we can give some space for that by having 5 minutes doing something where the brain isn't on a frenetic wheel, then it has an opportunity to do its magic and speak to us. And we can hear it, and we don't tend to discount it. We don't sort of stuff it and down and suppress it. And we tend to welcome it to come to the surface. And there's all kinds of positive ramifications that come about. Everything from I've gotten copy ideas for websites, ideas for classes, solutions to problems that were driving me bananas. Whole ideas for chapters for my next book have just come out of seemingly nowhere as a result of having just a few minutes making something.
Yes, yes, it is amazing technique, and thank you so much for sharing this method with you, which you created out of your experience. And of course, we have to develop intuition. Yes, and those
Hmm.
quiet moments. It is just not. It is not just for sitting quiet. This is for listening, because we are so busy and we ask ourselves so many questions, but we don't sit and listen to the answers.
That's true.
Yes, because we are full with all this information which coming outside. So these precious moments, again, it comes from self-love. You love yourself. You are the most important person. Yes, for yourself, for your family. And this is just 5 minutes when you put that quality time for yourself and you just listen. Why it is should be in dark or in calm? Why we want you not to think about anything? Because when you empty space and you don't think about anything, this is how you become hearing the intuition, and ideas and answers start coming because you gave the space. And sometimes even 1 2 minute can be so big transforming, because you can get the idea, you can connect to that idea in this universal mind that can just change the trajectory of your business, even of your life. We never know. As you said, some ideas just come out of, like, you never expect, but it just comes like uploads, yes, or downloads in your.
Yeah.
I
It's
never.
either uploading from the soul or downloading from the divine. But yes. And when it happens, it's electric. And you have this knowing that it's right. You have a full body yes.
Exactly. This is energy. This is idea, even if it is big idea, but you can feel excited about this. And also another thing that it feels so effortless. And you can
Mhm.
think, wow, it is so effortless. And I did so much hard work, but it can be such a different way. Yes, like the way of the less resistance. This is exactly what happens, because you don't need to do things in a hard way when you chase something or you do things hard. This is exactly these moments when you aligned with like your conscious, subconscious, your body, and you sit quiet and you just open to receive from the universe. And we have that universal mind. We just, as we say, that this teacher appears when the student is ready. So when you are ready to receive that idea, it will be given to you. But you have to wait, yes, to create the space and sit and open and say, I'm ready.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it reminds me of what Elizabeth Gilbert said in her TED talk about creative genius and how ideas kind of come along to individuals and kind of tap you on your shoulder. And if you're not receiving or paying attention, it's going to move on somebody else. And it's really interesting when we let ourselves believe that the work that we are doing can actually be easy, that it actually can be experienced in a state of flow, and that we do have enough time, and that we do have the resources that we need. And if we don't have them at hand, we can be resourceful and find them. We shift into this way of thinking and being as a result of doing these practices, and it becomes second nature to us. But here's what just blows my mind the most is that intuition releases courage, then we take bold action, and that ignites this wonderful phenomenon of synchronicity and serendipity. Now we're seeing things coming to us. We're not having to, take a spoon and dig a, 100-yard hole in the ground to go from A to B. We can literally leap from A to B and in a day, in an instant. And if we allow those opportunities to land for us, then we actually start to see and believe it it all can be done differently, as you point out. And when the mind believes something to be true, okay, I can live in abundance, I can be a very creative person, I can have a spacious life and a spacious daily existence in my business and enjoy all of it with a sense of agency and trust for myself, then you start looking for evidence that those thoughts are true. And we collect that evidence instead of the evidence of limits and scarcity and survival and this world of narrow focus that feels really, well, it feels awful. It fills us with anxiety and it shuts us off from all of our intuition and imagination and our best ideas.
Yes, yes, exactly. And the time when you spend with yourself is the most precious time because everything what we see in outside world is reflection of what is going inside. So that time which we put for ourselves for this routine in the morning, it gives us to have that inside order, peace and harmony. So when you spend in the first minutes or even first hour of the day to create that peace harmony in yourself, this is how all your day will be the reflection of that
Mhm.
harmony, and it is so different space. Yes, in comparison with people who wake up and then just start thinking, oh, I have to do so many things and I worry if I don't do that, or if I fail there, or if that person will not pay me back or whatever. Yes, so
Right.
like all these bombarded thoughts. Yes, and this is how the day will be. Yes, and this is how people just jump in from one task to another task. Like I said, one one guy said that quote like a chicken without a head. Yes, so jump.
Right.
Yes, and if you look, so many people do this, and they think that this is the way to live. So really, this harmony inside, which we put time, will project the harmony outside.
Amen.
Yes. So thank you so much. I really enjoyed this episode, and really, I so blessed, I would say, with all these amazing guests and as you today, that every day we meet and discuss such episodes and topics with so much wisdom and experience, which came through so many years, and like golden nuggets with all these diamonds, which everyone collects in their envelope, as you said, and
Yes.
and really, yes, I want to acknowledge you for your love to humankind and really willingness to share your knowledge and expertise with our guests and our audience, the people who are listening. And of course, we want to encourage everyone who listening to us, don't just listen, implement, because listening it will not make any good. Yes, it is like a library when we just buy a book and put in the library and forget about this. But really implementation of these really five very simple steps But these 5 steps which Susie just shared with us today, it can make such a huge difference.
Absolutely. And you can just get started with one and let that become a habit before you bring on a second one. And just start small and then just bring some awareness to how you're feeling and how you're experiencing your day and how your thinking is starting to change. And you're going to notice the power of accumulation very quickly.
Yes, yes, Susie. So thank you so much for being amazing guest today. And of course, I'm looking forward to see you again in our future episodes because I think people would like to know more about your nuclear winter period and as you called it and how you overcame this. I think that that also would be a very great topic which we can record next time somewhere.
That
In the
sounds wonderful. I would love to do that. Thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah, thank you, Susie, and have a great day. Speak to you soon.
Thank you.